Cast your mind back to the heady days of 2015, where it was possible to make a political comment on Facebook without sparking a massive argument between members of your extended family. Back then we could get outraged about more trivial stuff like, for example, the absence of space battles in Star Wars Battlefront. They arrived later in Battlefront's Death Star DLC of course, but Star Wars Battlefront 2 has them from the very start, and they're a more fleshed out mode of their own. Here are the 7 things you need to know about Star Wars Battlefront 2's space battle. When we say space battles is a more fleshed out mode, we're mainly referring to the fact that each round now has a multi-part mission to complete in order to win. In this mission as the Rebels, you're tasked with destroying Imperial transports, protecting Y-Wings as they attack shield projectors, and then finally attacking giant couplings to reveal a reactor and shooting at that during the brief period it remains open. We didn't play as the Imperials, but it's safe to assume that their multi-stage objective is to stop all those things happening at the stages they're about to happen, with the optional objective of being massive jerks while they're at it. It's a lot to think about when you're also trying to focus on not getting shot to bits by your enemies, but it makes the entire thing feel more like an actual mission than 10 minutes of aimless dogfighting. And at least if you're thinking about that stuff, you're not thinking about why the Imperials would leave something as vital as a reactor dangling underneath their spaceship like a set of truck nuts. Maybe they'll answer that one in Rogue 2, a Star Wars story.
This will be impossible if we don't take out those cruisers first.
In Battlefront 2 space battles, you'll definitely perform better if you're more organised and cooperate with your teammates. Some of the new objectives are definitely more than a single heroic pilot can manage, so if you can persuade your teammates to stop chasing TIE fighters at pivotal moments and play the relevant objectives, you're more likely to get the win. Take the moment where you have to attack the couplings, for example. There's 4 of them and all of them are too strong to be taken out in a single run by a single fighter. If you can get 3 or more of you together though and focus methodically on each one, you can pop them up in a matter of moments.
Target destroyed.
Then you have to corral your team and head to the underside to shoot the reactor and inflict the maximum damage possible during the short window that it's open. Obviously this is a pre-release version of the game and they're probably still fine-tuning the balancing, but at the moment in this particular mission, the Rebellion appears to be at a distinct disadvantage, having to juggle targeting objectives as well as enemy fighters. So no switching your voice comms off and using the Force, alright? Forget what that confused old hermit bloke was saying. He's probably never seen action in his entire life.
Nice work.
Good news for fans of pretending to be intergalactic heartbreaking dreamboats. In Star Wars Battlefront 2's space battles, you can play as Poe Dameron in his stylishly liveried X-Wing called Black One. Poe's X-Wing has a couple of special abilities in addition to the usual proton torpedoes. BB-8 repair is an improved version of the standard astromech repair option, and Black Leader briefly reveals the location of enemy ships. As with the on-foot sections of the game, you're no longer collecting hero tokens to get your paws on the really good stuff. Instead you have to rack up 1,000 battle points by getting kills and playing objectives, which you then spend on a go in a hero ship. Hopefully you last longer than we do. I don't care how good BB-8's repair skills are, there is no coming back from that. Of course, if you're old school and you'd prefer to be the original handsome space pilot, Han Solo, the Millennium Falcon is available too, and equally easy to blow up. Turns out that the most dangerous, badassest character in the on-foot levels is also the most intimidating in space battles as well. Darth Maul shows up during space battles in his Sith Infiltrator, which looks like a TIE fighter with a giant duck bill attached to the front. I mean, don't tell him that, he'll flip out. Figuratively and probably literally too. While we didn't get the chance to play as Darth Maul, having faced off against him, his biggest advantage became immediately clear. He can turn invisible using the ship's cloaking device, making him more difficult to hit in the chaos of a dogfight. Yet again, Darth Maul gets all the coolest abilities. It really is a marvel that guy only lasted a single movie.
Of initiating their body. We need you to run interference.
As of Battlefront 2, you now have the ability to customise your ship in space battles using the same star card system as the rest of the game, though not the same star cards themselves, obviously. You do not want to set off a jump pack when you're strapped in the cockpit of an X-Wing.
Not over yet.
Instead, you get things like tuned lasers, automated repair systems, and a tactical jammer that will confer passive benefits to your ship during the mission. You can also set different default loadouts for each ship type to either mitigate some of its weaknesses or exaggerate its strengths. Of course, if there's a star card in there that makes the Y-Wing handle any better than a shopping cart with a wonky wheel, that would be very welcome indeed.
Recruit training these recruits.
The Y stands for, why would you ever choose this spaceship?
Generator down. Continue. Another down. Making headway.
A neat little thing to note for true Star Wars fanatics, this particular space battles mission takes place above the planet of Fondor, a planet surrounded by Imperial orbital shipyards that was confirmed as part of the new Star Wars canon in 2015, but was part of the expanded universe for years beforehand. It's presumably these shipyard facilities that we are attempting to blow up as the Rebel Alliance in this mission, and you can see the heavily industrialised planet below as you wheel around shooting enemies and accidentally slamming into orbital space furniture. A vast infinity of space, and still I managed to find something to crash into. Fondor had previously appeared in MMO Star Wars The Old Republic and strategy game Star Wars Empire at War, but this is its first video game appearance as part of the new Star Wars canon, and if you can find a pub quiz where that's useful information, you owe me half your winnings. Finally, like the on-foot missions in the game, you'll get to see the consequences either of your glorious victory or crushing defeat. To pick an entirely random example, if, for the sake of argument, you were to suffer a defeat while playing as the Rebels in this Fondor mission, you get to witness the awesome sight of a Rebel CR-90 Corvette getting rammed from behind by a Star Destroyer exiting hyperspace. Yeah, and good luck getting the Empire to admit fault on your insurance claim. There you have it, the 7 things you need to know about space battles in Star Wars Battlefront 2. Does this make up for their absence in the first game's initial release? Are there any particular bits of space you'd like to battle in? Do you think maybe being a Rebel pilot isn't for me? Let us know in the comments, and like and subscribe for much more on Battlefront 2 very soon.
X-Wing down.